So, Britt, what are some of the most common roofing myths that you encounter as a roofing professional?
Gosh, there's a lot of them, and you know what? We really don't blame homeowners for that because how many people really know much about roofing and their roof and how it went down? You know, most of us, a lot of us, have never bought a roof in our lifetime, and I think the average consumer owner only ever buys like one. I think is statistically the average. So yeah, we're all not roofing professionals. You know, that's our job. That's why you work with a company like us. So I would tell you the most prevalent myth is one, and you could say it kind of goes back to estimation and shopping is all roofs are the same. Okay, so all if I'm thinking about a traditional home with a shingled roof, um, they're all pretty much the same. Just go with the cheap roof, right? Because the materials, a shingle's a shingle. What goes on under isn't that the only thing up there, or what goes on under the shingle must all be the same. And I guess what I would tell you the biggest misconception is that I guess I would tell you it's not 1952 anymore. It's not tar paper under there and some asphalt shingles on top, and away we go, and it's kind of all the same. Every manufacturer has different lines of shingles that are appropriate for different, number one, different types of surfaces, and also number two, different homeowner needs or desires. And then the really super important part is what's going on under the shingles as well. So, the assembly system, the things that are going to ensure that your attic and your home breathe and all those things. So, a roof isn't just a roof and go with the cheap guy because they're all the same. That'd be kind of like saying, well, just buy the cheapest used car that you can find because they're all the same. But that's not quite true. There's a lot more to it than that.
So, can you talk a little bit about roofing materials and explain, what types of roofing materials are available and whether they're, suitable for various climates or different types of homes?
Sure. You know what? I mean, I guess I would tell you a roofing system kind of starts with what we call underlayments, which are the things that go between the roof and then the roofing material. There's a whole variety of different things there and different classes of them, from being very inexpensive and not very good to being, a little larger investment, but providing a different experience. The next thing that's typical to any roof is ice and water shield. So ice shield in the Northeast here. That's something that's very typical for us. Then we get into what's going on top of it. Well, there's a lot of different options. There's asphalt shingles, of which every manufacturer makes different grades. Some of them are less expensive because they're not as robust a product. Some of them are more. So there's something for every budget. There's also, you can get away from that. You can get into slate. You can also get into standing seam metal. So there's a whole variety of different things. I would tell you the most common by far is asphalt shingles. And asphalt shingles kind of break down into a couple of segments. Largely, it's what's called three tab, which is kind of a standard old shingle that most of us saw. And then architectural shingles, which are actually a laminated product that's more robust. It also allows the manufacturer to do different things to make it, I guess I would tell you, make it look a little prettier as well. But so asphalt shingles are definitely the most common that's going over. But everything has its place. Slate's a wonderful product. Cedar is a wonderful product. It's just not appropriate for every situation. Standing seam metal is popular and becoming even more popular. A lot of times we see that on commercial structures, but people do that on their homes as well, especially in areas with heavy snow loads. One of the beauties of standing seam metal is it's essentially impermeable. You're going to put that roof up there, and 50 years from now, it should be as tight as it was the day that we put it on, as long as it hasn't been damaged and it was, of course, installed properly. Another thing that people don't necessarily think about, and they need to with roofing, is ventilation. There's a whole second side to your roof. There's the side that we all see, which is the shingles or standing seam. Well, guess what? Go up in your attic. That's the other side of your roof. Is that plywood and all the other stuff, and proper ventilation, or better said, improper ventilation, is number one potentially even dangerous for the homeowner because you can have mold, mildew, all these other things. But it's also detrimental to the life of the roof as well. So again, that second side of the roof, the part that most of us don't think about up in the attic, if that attic is not properly ventilated through ridge vent or gable end vents, whichever we're doing, we do a lot of ridge vent. Um, it's going to lessen the life of the roof and also be a worse experience for the customer potentially in terms of home health.
Okay. And so is one particular, type of roofing material better for, the climate here in New England than another, or do they all work pretty well?
I would tell you that they all have a proper place. It's kind of like anything, you just want to get the proper product, and sometimes there's more than one solution that's appropriate to a home. Um, if you take money out of it, but let's face it, money's a real thing. If you take money out of it, there's a lot of options that can work on different homes, but most people don't want to pay, significantly more for a roof to do it as a standing seam metal roof versus, say, an architectural shingle roof. So I would tell you again, here in New England, by far the most common residential roof is an asphalt shingle roof that is architectural shingles. And there's a lot of really great products out there, again, that can have warranties of up to 50 years if they're done by a certified contractor such as ourselves. That they're willing to warrant that roof for up to 50 years on that product, which is really amazing.
Talking about myths, I know that some people believe that one color versus another color, of shingles affects their home and maybe the energy efficiency of their home. Lighter roofs might reflect the sun more, so they might be better in the summer and not let as much heat in. But on the other hand, in the winter, darker shingles might allow more sun to hit the roof and warm up the home. Are lighter and darker shingles, does that actually affect the energy efficiency of your home? And if so, which one do we prefer generally here in New England?
Sure. You know what? In general, there's not actually a huge amount of difference if you go back to that whole discussion that we had about ventilation. So if an attic or whatever the space beneath that roof is properly ventilated, there's not a lot of difference. Yes, a very dark shingle on a very sun exposed roof will build up some heat faster than a much lighter colored shingle on that same roof. But if that attic that is above those is properly ventilated, the difference is nominal, and it's really not lengthening or shortening the shingle life at this point. That used to be true more so many years ago. But the manufacturers, especially when you're talking about architectural shingles, which are a laminated, multi-layered product now, old shingles used to be pretty much asphalt granules, a little bit of, there was like a matting in there, and they were more susceptible to heat damage. Current ones, based on the color of the shingle, not so much. You're more likely to damage a roof of any type by having it being improperly vented. Now you're cooking it from the top, sunlight, and from the bottom, the inside. So if that attic space is not properly vented, you're going to do more damage than the difference between a light gray shingle and a dark black shingle. That's going to be a lot different. So as long as it's being installed properly, it's really the difference is so marginal. I would tell you it's not worth that. I tell homeowners, choose what you think would look really great. And in a case like us, where we're going to ensure proper ventilation, hey, go with what makes you happy. Make what makes it look good to you, and you're not going to have a problem because we're going to ventilate that area properly.
Right. Most homeowners can probably go months or years without even hardly looking at their roof. Is that something that homeowners should be doing on a regular basis, like inspecting their roofs, or calling a professional to come in and inspect their roof and just make sure that it's in good shape? And if so, how often should they be doing that?
Sure. Great question. Yeah, you're right. Most homeowners, I would tell you, most homeowners have never been on the roof, nor do they want to, right? It's not, we all have different things that we do. So, Mr. Smith might be really great at something, but climbing up on his roof probably might not be his deal. And that's great. So yeah, I would tell you, if someone's capable and can safely perform an inspection of their roof, it's good to get up there and just give it a visual inspection every year or 2 years. I would tell you, most homeowners, we really don't suggest that because they're not going to be able to do that in a safe manner. We don't want someone getting hurt going up and looking at it. So yeah, you can call a company, a professional roofing company such as Master Roofers. There are also some home inspection companies that offer the service as well. And I would tell you, if no one's been on your roof in 5 years, give a call. It's very inexpensive, and have someone come out and just take a look at that roof. And really, at that point, if it's a newer roof, so let's say you put it on 5 years ago, no one's been there since, and that sort of thing, we're really looking for physical damage and proper installation. Are you having issues because it was not installed properly? Meaning, do you have shingles breaking loose because they didn't use the nailing strip? What are you having going on there? We can help you with that. Did you suffer damage? A limb, hit your roof and you thought everything was fine and it turns out it's not. But we're happy to do those sort of things, and we're just as happy, and quite frankly, we're happiest when we can jump up there and go, yeah, everything looks awesome. Geez, John, your roof, it looks like it's in great shape. It was installed well, and we see no damage. Unless something happens, give us a call again in 5 years. So that's really what we like to do. But by the same token, just like maintaining your car, having that inspection done is pretty cheap insurance against something larger. Unfortunately, we've had to respond to inspections like that only to find out that whoever installed the roof didn't do it properly, and now there is damage that's occurring. It's a lot easier to fix it when it's small than when all of a sudden now it's raining in your dining room. So, but